Today we're going to look at things that coexisted in history, Part 4. And just like the previous videos, these are all true stories of things that happened in history that you probably never knew existed. So let's get right into it. Starting off this countdown, we have the dodo bird and black bears. The dodo bird is a legendary flightless bird that was found only on the island of Mauritius. And while it may be long extinct, black bears still roam the earth. But what is interesting here is that they both used to coexist together. On the island until an estimated 136 years before present day, black bears were brought to Mauritius from Africa between 1370 and 1500 CE by Arab sailors. They had no natural enemies on the island, so their population exploded. It wasn't long after that the sailors landed that the dodos went extinct. Moving on at number 9, we have John Wilkes Booth and Abraham Lincoln. While it is true that Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, it's also true that the two men actually lived during the same time period. When Lincoln was born in 1809, John Wilkes Booth was already 3 years old. This means they overlapped for 22 years, which would have put Lincoln at about 5'10" and Booth at about 4'6". I mean, imagine bumping into someone in the street who would later assassinate your president. Also, I think it's pretty crazy that Lincoln was only 5'10", because every single picture I've ever seen of him makes him look absolutely gigantic. Maybe it was his beard making him seem taller or something. But whatever it is, I was really surprised to find out he wasn't even 6 feet tall. Next up at number 8, we have woolly mammoths and humans. Woolly mammoths went extinct about 4,000 years ago, and humans have been around for 300,000 years. Oh, that seems like there would be a massive gap between when they were alive, but that's not the case. There has been some debate over this one, but according to history, woolly mammoths and humans overlapped for thousands of years across multiple continents. Evidence has shown that early humans hunted woolly mammoths for food and used their tusks and bones for tools and shelter. This goes back tens of thousands of years, and it was NT until about 4,000 years ago that they went fully extinct. That's not too long ago in the grand scheme of things. Coming in at No. 7, we have Leonardo da Vinci and the potato. Leonardo da Vinci is regarded as one of the most talented and gifted people to ever live. And considering he invented tanks, helicopters, robots, parachutes, and more, it's hard to argue with that statement. What's interesting about Leonardo da Vinci, though, is that he lived from 1452 to 1519, while the potato was discovered in the Andes Mountains sometime. Between Devosis 8000 and 5000 BC, that's a huge gap in time. However, it was recently discovered that potatoes were brought to Europe by Spanish explorers in the 16th century. This would have been near the end of Leonardo da Vinci's life, meaning that he could have very well tried and maybe even liked the potato. I mean, the man literally painted a banana in the Mona Lisa, so I feel like it's pretty likely that he would have tried a new vegetable. Next up at number 6, we have King Richard, the Lionheart, and Saladin. These two men are legendary, and they fought against each other in the Third Crusade. However, despite being fierce warriors on the battlefield, they were apparently great friends when they weren't trying to kill each other. After meeting on the battlefield, the two leaders decided to call a truce and meet each other in person. This led to a great friendship between them, and they would often talk for hours about military tactics and techniques. After the war, they kept in touch and continued to be friends until Richard's death in 1199. Considering they were both Muslim and Christian, and considering they were both warriors from completely different parts of the world, I think it's safe to say that they definitely stood out from everyone else during that time period. Moving on at number 5, we have Cleopatra and Rome. Cleopatra is an iconic ruler who supposedly dipped her bread in milk instead of using utensils. She was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, and she died in 30 BC. Rome, on the other hand, was founded in 753 BC. Now granted, Rome wasn't technically a thing yet when Cleopatra was alive, because it took them a little while to figure out how to start a country. But they did eventually become a powerhouse, and they conquered Egypt in 30 BC, ending Cleopatra's reign. So it's kind of weird that they both existed at the same time, but they did. In our 4th spot today, we have William Shakespeare and the Spanish Armada. William Shakespeare was an English poet, playwright, and actor who lived from 1564 to 1616. During this time, England was ruled by Queen Elizabeth I, and one of the biggest threats she faced during her reign was the Spanish Armada in 1588. If you do not know, Spanish Armada was a group of ships sent by King Philip II of Spain to invade England, but it failed. This is important because if Spain would have invaded and defeated England, then chances are Shakespeare wouldn't have become the legendary writer he did. So it's kind of weird to think that these two things happened at the exact same time and in the same place. Now, moving on to our third story, we have ancient Thebes and the Roman Empire. Ancient Thebes was a city-state located in Greece. Its glory days were from 700 to 335 BC. It was known for its military strength and its cultural achievements. But that's not what's interesting here. What's interesting here is that the Roman Empire lasted from 27 BC to 476 AD, and that's practically overlapping with ancient Thebes. Granted, ancient Thebes didn't exist as a major power anymore by the time the Roman Empire began. But they still technically existed. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because it's always weird to me how the Roman Empire lasted so long and they even kind of overlap with ancient Greek civilizations. The Roman Empire was in power for about 500 years and ancient Greece was in power for about 800. In our second spot today, we have Emperor Hirohito of Japan in World War II. Emperor Hirohito was the 124th Emperor of Japan, and he reigned from 1926 to 1989. That sounds like a relatively normal human lifespan, but there's a twist. See, the entire span of his reign was during World War II. He became emperor when Japan invaded China, and he stayed emperor until the Japanese economic miracle after World War II. This means he was emperor during the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the dropping of the atomic bombs, and basically the entirety of World War II. So yeah, he saw some things. And now we move on to our one story where we have Jane Austen and Florence Nightingale. Both of these women were legendary, and they both accomplished so much. However, they both lived during the same time period. Jane Austen was an English novelist whose works of romantic fiction, including Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, have never gone out of style. On the other hand, Florence Nightingale was a British social reformer and statistician who was the founder of modern nursing. She was best known for her work during the Crimean War, where she organized care for wounded soldiers and reduced mortality rates dramatically. Now, while they both accomplished amazing things and lived in the same place, there's one thing that's weird about this pair. You see, while Jane Austen wrote about love and relationships and family drama, Florence Nightingale spent her entire career saving lives and helping people. Yet they never met. How can two people live in the same time and place and not even meet? Doesn't make sense. I mean, sure, Florence Nightingale was busy doing her humanitarian stuff, and Jane Austen was busy writing books, but still, they were both in England during the same time period, and it seems like they could have easily met, yet they never did. Thank you guys for watching. That was 10 things that coexisted in history. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something new. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss another video. Also, if you want to learn more about any of these topics, I will have sources linked down below. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.